Hey guys, welcome to yet another time-lapse video here. So this time around I am doing some kind of random sci-fi box here, and I kind of just wanted to do it to complete the trio of that I have on my channel. You know, you have those two time-lapses of the robots, Behemoth and Sentinel, and then you have the plasma cutter for a weapon time-lapse, so you can see how I do that. So I kind of wanted to do this random sci-fi thing here just to show you how I would tackle some kind of environment prop like that. So the idea is really rough, and I just did this in about 2 afternoons. I didn't really have much direction really. I kind of just went for it, hey, just wanted to show how I would take a random box and try to make it interesting and have some function to it, I guess, and stuff like that. My initial idea was to have it as some kind of, you'll see it later. I'll display a finished picture of it somewhere in the time-lapse, maybe just now. But the idea was to have these kind of, this would be some kind of charge station for some kind of batteries, I suppose, for some bigger, robots, mechas, something like that. I don't know. It was just something, some idea, I guess, to get the ball rolling, really. I suppose the overall design is very hectic and all over the place, but like I said earlier, I just wanted to show off the techniques and the process, and I think there's some good stuff in here, and how I tackle things. There's a lot of from my tips and tricks series, Volume 1 and 2, I show some stuff in there, and this is how I apply them, so it's good for you to see how I apply them in my projects, I think. But I suppose in the final product, some elements could have been integrated and implemented better, and but it has some stuff that is quite nice to look at. I guess it's simple. I suppose with proper direction, it could be a lot better. But like I said, just a fun sketch to get another time lapse in to show you how I would tackle a random sci-fi box. Ooh, very interesting. So with the basic monologue out of the way, I'm doing kind of the battery pack now, starting to do that, and you can see I think this time lapse is 4 times as fast as normal, and I basically did the box itself. I did a rough sketch of it. I'll show it on the screen here. Before I initially started, hey, I wanted to have these batteries here and some kind of screen to it, and yeah, it's like I said, it's not a lot of reference or anything like that. It's just kind of hey, this could look good. So, but I would always recommend, if you want to do something proper, definitely take your time with it. It was just for fun. So this was my first initial idea for those small batteries that you can put into the generator, charging station. I'm gonna dismiss it later, but it's good to show the ideas that I had initially and the ones that I kind of scrap along the way, because the design is changing all the time, and it's good to jump between elements and keep adding to it and building it up and seeing hey, does this work? It doesn't work? Yep. You found the answer to that. So, and I always kind of try to zoom out as well, see if some elements work together or something like that. And I always work with color. I always block in the color not immediately, but you can see here it's quite early on. It's just to see how different, it's just to add a different color to the elements, just to see them properly from far away, or how they kind of connect to each other and all that. I usually just work with some shades of gray and then some large different color blocks like the green one, as a main shader, something like that. But even though this one is a little bit faster than my previous time-lapse, the plasma cutter one, I'm hoping you can still follow along. I mean, like I said previously, you can always mute me and the video, slow it down, watch it, try to break things down a little bit more. I mean, I think it's good to have a few time lapses on my channel, just to see like different kind of styles I tackle and different things like this one. But my process is basically just, you know, the extract tool over and over again, extracting from like my previous inserted meshes, and it's just easier to do that, you know, massing things out and then extracting it. I have hotkeys for my extract keys, and you can find them on my ArtStation store page, and I kind of work with a lot of hotkeys in that way, but then I have my two main menus to work with other elements. And there's one thing that I was quite fascinated by, is that someone mentioned in the Plasma Cutter time-lapse that he found it interesting that I never really model anything in ZBrush really, and I don't really do that really. I just use Dynamesh and then sculpt it, and I never thought about that before. I just really sculpt everything, don't really do a lot of those scene modelers or anything like that, unless it's like absolutely necessary, but I don't really use it in my workflow. So it was funny someone mentioned that, because I haven't paid much attention to it for a long time. But I would really like to know what kind of videos you guys want to get later after this one. I am really unsure what to do after this time lapse, but I'm probably going to do more design stuff, I guess, and we'll see whatever comes up next. I don't really have much planned at the moment, but you know, it's good to, if you have any suggestions, so you want to see what you want to see more stuff like other behind the scenes stuff, let me know. But you can see I'm just jumping all over the place and trying to adjust different elements of the project itself, and like there's a lot of stuff that I do initially that I then scrap later, but you know, that's alright, that's part of the process. I don't know, the classic radial symmetry, that's what I do for all of my projects really. It's just so good to do that. Dynamesh, radial symmetry. It's the best combo ever. Name a more iconic duo. And now I'm kind of resetting that battery thing, because I wasn't really fond of it looking like that initially, like the initial block out of it. So now I'm jumping into it, being extra mad about like, hey, how can I design this properly? And now I'm just kind of going through that and trying to. I think I just really finish it there, and yeah, it's. I think that's kind of my favorite part of it. This one, I was really happy with how those designs of the batteries turned out. But for this project, I wasn't really following any, proper reference, so you can probably see that in the final product. But I was just kind of finding shapes like, hey, this looks fun. Let's go in that direction. I was just kind of making this for this time lapse here, just to show like different techniques and all that. I really hope these techniques that I'm using in this time lapse help you out in some way. But it's really simple to, when you're extracting like I just did there, when you're doing those kind of layers, it's good to just extract one layer, extract another one, extract, and you kind of bunch up these layers, do this kind of layering sandwich, and then you detail it and try to interconnect it together. I mean, I'm not doing it right there, but it's just, that's why I do it. It's because it's so simple to just mask an object and then extract it like that. But hopefully I'm not repeating myself. And this is also a good idea. Masking something like that cube there and extracting it so it looks like some kind of a brace. So you can see, like, in this short amount of time I'm almost complete, like the batteries are really just almost completed, and they're kind of simple in a way. I'm not using any really alphas really, I'm just using my personal brushes and other ones. And then I use like alphas for kind of decals. I have this decal brush that I use later on. So that's, just to mark it like, heavy object or, lift here or something like that. I think it's nice to add that element in ZBrush. But, using alphas, it's definitely good to, speed things up. But I when I'm doing personal projects for myself, I try to not use them as much as I can. I mean, it's just so I can try to build things up. It takes a lot longer to not use the alphas, but it's, it makes things more original, I guess. But I mean, yeah, that's just me. So yeah, you can see there, I'm using the decal, my custom decal brush, but it's pretty simple. And I just have made some alphas in Photoshop for myself. That's just my own library, it's really simple. And it's just nice to have it added in there in ZBrush itself instead of, if you're rendering it out, adding it later, just to realize the, your project a little bit more, adds a little bit more depth to it, I guess. So now I'm moving the battery pack in place. So this is the idea, really, is that you have this big charge station and then you have this small battery packs that you can insert into it to, like, recharge it, and then you plug it out and put it in some kind of a mech or something like that. And asymmetry, like here, I'm now adding like space for the screen area, and adding asymmetry for your project. It's a good design thing, if a thing is too symmetrical, it's very unnatural, I suppose. So, and then you have all those design rules like 70-30 or something like that. And I'm trying to apply that. I mean, I'm not always successful, but I guess you can apply some design, like 70-30 rule to this box here. Like the screen area is 30%, and then you have the 70%, the battery packs and all that. But you can see, like, just 60 minutes into this time lapse. I know it's not real time, but we've already like almost got the whole idea down, and it's just nice. I recommend just jumping into ZBrush, you know, yourself, and then just try to do some random stuff, boxes, and try to use those design rules that you've learned, and just doing something fun. It doesn't always have to be after some concept or something like that. I know maybe most of the time that's better, but it's always really fun just to jump in and just do something random that you really like. I mean, sometimes it ends up looking great, sometimes not that great, and then sometimes really bad. But you know, it's really nice to jump in and do these kind of relaxing projects where you're not worried about some kind of concept or following some kind of strict rules. You know, just having fun in ZBrush, sculpting like that. So one thing to help out when you are starting your projects and just completely from scratch is when you're doing robots or a random sci-fi box like this, it's good to contemplate like, hey, what is this thing's purpose? Like if it's some kind of a robot, then like, okay, is it a cleaning robot? Is it a construction, something like that? Then it helps you to design that thing, and instead of just being some random robot, it gives that thing a personality as well. If you're like, hey, this is designed as this thing, it has this purpose. So when you have that, it helps you design those things. Like for this, for example, when I did this box, I was like, hey, this is supposed to be some kind of charging station. So that helped out instead of just being like, hey, that's just a box. But I mean, you can make a box interesting, like I know a lot of artists can do. So it's just some advice. I really struggled with this part here, this kind of brace or like around the screen, because I was just really going back and forth, like how can I make this look interesting and not too convoluted. So it was really a big struggle, like this whole area surrounding the screen, like trying to make it look interesting and not, yeah, I don't know, it was my biggest challenge really, this project. So when I'm doing screens like that, I like to add a material from Undo C. It's an artist. He's an artist, and he has this really nice material that makes it so it looks like it's a glowing effect in ZBrush. So you can see me applying that really soon. I think I don't know when I do it, but I do it somewhere along the line. Just wanted to call that out. someone asked me after last video, like, why I'm using the clip curve so much. It's just, and not the knife curve, it's just because I feel like, at least in this version that I'm using right now, the knife curve is really unreliable on my PC. It keeps crashing, and it just instantly crashes. It doesn't just try to auto-save or anything like that before, so I lose all my progress. So that's why I'm using the clip curve always, because it's kind of like, you know, the good old reliable in a way. So that's my reason. So yeah, that paneling that I'm fixing out right now it was always kind of bothered me. It looked kind of stylized in a way, so that's why I kind of put this kind of panel before it, because I was like, that, you know, that doesn't look too great. That looks, you know, kind of cartoonish in a way. So that's why I started focusing on that. To add these kind of more braces to it. So here I'm trying to add something to that corner of the monitor, and like this one is something that I scrapped, but I was just trying to, you know, add something interesting to it. But I ended up adding some kind of a fire extinguisher to it, just to, you know, it's nice to have that element, just to break things up there. So here I am working on the fire extinguisher, and it's just a really simple one. I kind of just wanted to do something that had that silhouette of that extinguisher, just so I could add it to that monitor area. So it's not something that I really stayed on for too long. Just, you know, make something quick, really. But you know, if I would put more time into it, I would definitely put more effort into that sci-fi fire extinguisher. Alright, so we're more than halfway through the time lapse here, so I'm gonna cut off the commentary and let the music take over for the rest of the video. I really hope this time lapse will show you some nice and different techniques that you'll be able to use in your personal projects. I also hope you liked my rambling, and let me know if you want more of this type of content. Alright, until next time everyone. Bye.